What is up, YouTube? This is Kyan Cannon from Arguably Georgia Sports, and today we are going to be previewing the Falcons versus Seahawks NFL Divisional round. So we're in Georgia, so we're obviously going to be, we're cheering for the Falcons, but we're going to stay as unbiased as possible and give our predictions to who's going to win the game and recap some stats from over the season. So, Matt Ryan had 4,944 yards, only 56 away from 5,000, which I think only 5 or 6 people have ever done. Devontae Freeman, 1,000 plus yards. Julio Jones, 1,409 yards. And let's look at some, and Cannon, tell them some of the team stats.
Yeah, so in their offense, points-wise, they're first in the country. Passing yards, third, and rushing yards, they're fifth. The thing is, the reason why they're losing all their games is their defense. They're giving up approximately 25 and a half points a game, and
scoring.
That's 27th in the country.
But they're
They
scoring.
are scoring more than that, 33, 34 points a game,
Which
but
would be insane even in college.
it really would. If you're averaging that many, I think the only team even in college that's doing that is like Louisville.
Not just that, like basically the entire Big 12 where there's no defense.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so what the Falcons have to do to win this game is, let's look at some of their playoff history. Matt Ryan has one playoff win in his career, and that was at the Georgia Dome against the Seahawks. So, do you think that plays into effect at all, that was his only playoff win?
Well, I don't really think. I think it was just a home field. I think they would have beaten.
Well, it is this time too. It's home field again.
They would have beaten probably most people except for a couple teams. But honestly, I don't see the Falcons. This is going to be a really, really good game because you have one of the best NFL coaches ever for the Seahawks and a great quarterback. And they have a couple great receivers. They have obviously Richard Sherman. And I don't know. It's just going to be it's going to be a good game with also having on the other side Matt Ryan, Devontae Freeman, and Julio Jones. Now, it sounds like a really fun game, and it will be.
Now let's go over to see some of the Seahawks stats. Seahawks won their last game against the Lions in the playoffs. And really, what was the Lions pretty much hung around really until the end, and then Seahawks just pulled away. Do you think that momentum is going to help at all?
I think it's definitely a factor. It'll get them a little more confidence. And even though, if you look at this, the Falcons have a 72% chance to win. But I don't really think that that's correct, obviously. I think the Seahawks have a way better chance than that. If I had to pick...
Well, this is the ESPN FPI. It gets a little outrageous sometimes. I think that the Falcons do have these odds because really they have the better offense. The only reason I might not pick the Falcons, I'm not revealing my pick yet, but the only reason I might not pick the Falcons is just their playoff history because they haven't been clutch in the playoffs. And that's really the question this year.
So, but...
Like I said, do you think that the wild card win against the Lions will give them any momentum and help with this game for the Seahawks?
Yeah, I definitely think it will. It's kind of funny, you're looking at the Seahawks stats, and they're a lot worse, actually. Russell Wilson has 4,200 yards passing, and Christian Michael, their running back, has only 469.
It was very disappointing.
And their passing was 1,100. So that's a whole lot worse.
Receiving yards.
But the offsetter is definitely the defense. They definitely have a much better defense than the Falcons, but the Falcons have the much better offense, and that's...
Yes, definitely, because they're only giving up 18 points a game, which is third in the NFL, but their offense they're getting 22 points per game, which is tied for 18th. So let's also talk about these two teams played earlier in the year, and it was a very controversial win for the Seahawks. It was in Seattle, and they had that what a lot of people think should have been a call for the pass interference on by Richard Sherman on Julio Jones. Do you think? I mean, I think that the Falcons should have won that game, and winning. Yeah, they only lost by 2, and it was their off. I mean, and we saw it. The Falcons' offense really the Falcons' offense really was held back by the Seahawks defense in that game.
Definitely. I mean, they were about 10 points less than they usually do, or 8 points less than they usually do. But that's crazy. And also, if you look at the Seahawks earlier season, they have some really good wins, including Dallas and the Patriots. So I mean, those are some wins that are very, very important. You want to go on to picks?
Yeah, let's go into picks. I'm going to take the Falcons in this one. I just think I can't go against them at home against a team that I think that they're clearly better than. I think that the only reason they lost that game earlier in the year was because of the bad call, and it was at Seattle. So I'm taking the Falcons in this one.
Well, if you look at the Seahawks offense, it's close to like 2/3 as good, but their defense is a million times better. I think that's going to be the difference maker in this game. I'm taking the Seahawks.
I would not say that they're 2/3 as good nearly. I'd say that they're probably a little less than half as good, because when you look at the stats and you look at their averages, I mean, they're 25th in the game in rushing. 25th in the league, and they're tied for 18th in points per game. So while their defense will help them, I just don't see them. I think that the Falcons' offense will outweigh the Seahawks' defense, just like the Falcons have been doing pretty much all year with a lot of teams.
Well, I mean, I definitely think it'll be close.
I think it'll be a close game too. But so yeah. And should we move on to pick just a few? We won't go very deep into them, but we'll pick some of the other divisional games. Houston versus New England. Houston doesn't have a chance in this game.
Oh yeah.
They got lucky because Oakland was on their third string quarterback.
I completely agree. Next is the Steelers and Kansas City.
I see this.
Steelers, I think, have to win this.
And they played earlier in the season, and I think the Steelers won like 44-17. I just like the Steelers, and they got so much momentum after that big win over the Dolphins. I see them winning too.
Here's another very interesting game: Green Bay against Dallas. What do you take?
I'm gonna go with the upset. I'm saying Green Bay, for this reason. I don't think that Dallas. I think that Dallas thinks so highly of themselves right now. They feel like they can't be beat, but I think that they can. And Green Bay is one of the best matchups they've had all year. And I don't think that they're going to be ready for this game, but I think Green Bay thinks they can win this game.
Well, for Dallas, I think what's going for them is their quarterback. He's doing a great job this year. He is a rookie. He's doing great. I mean, I can't pick against him.
And Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah, but I just don't think that they're going to be prepared. That Green Bay has a lot of talent.
I definitely don't think that it's going to be an easy game, but I think that they will pull out with it in the end.
So other headlines: the Chargers are moving to Los Angeles. We're not going to talk about that much because it's a really complicated issue. So yeah, and hopefully we will have an NFC Championship preview for the Falcons. Hopefully. And as always, but not really as always, but now almost always, goodbye.